turnpike, culvert. So let me throw out 3 words that make no sense. Rock, turnpike, culvert. Debbie, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Julie knows what I'm talking about. Who here has moved rocks before and worked with them? Just raise your hands. Cool. So you guys know that moving rocks takes several things. First, it takes patience. And in this particular moment, my patience was gone. Seth actually saw me go. That's true. And then Seth went, I'm going to go do something else for a little while. And I sat down and thought about your graduation. But it takes patience to move rock, to set rock, and to create trails that are sustainable takes patience. And I've seen that from you guys. And one of the times that stood out is Meg. All of your interactions that you've had with the other people in this Corps are such a stellar example of the patience it takes to build community. And I think all the staff and us need to figure out where you get your water. Because you have a limitless ability to address issues, to look at conflict, and to really make people feel part of the community. And that's part of the patience, that's part of moving the rock that you need, that I didn't have when I kicked my hat. And it's a beautiful thing. Sandra, the same thing is true for you. When I saw you come into the program, I was scared, and you were scared. We both had big eyes because I was worried for you. And you had the patience to work with these crazy people and to actually teach these crazy people. And for that, we can only be grateful. And for that, our community is so much better. And so the patience to come here and the courage to stay here is so, so huge. The other thing you need is perseverance. So the same thing that made me kick my hat, and the same thing that Seth and I spent a day and a half trying to cover a turnpike, a culvert. You need perseverance. You need to be able to continue to find that rock. You need to continue to try. And one of the things that stuck with me, Maria, was when I saw you on the intensive trip. I came out and you're like, you know, I'm an urban girl. You look around, you're trying to look wistfully around, and you're like, this isn't me. But I'm trying, and it was so powerful to hear you say this afternoon when Caroline and you were talking, and you're like, I miss it a little bit. I miss having the backpack and being out there. But the fact that you tried is what our communities need. It's the type of leadership that we need, and that you persevered through those things. And I ate that food, and that's perseverance too, so thank you all for that. The other piece of perseverance is around leadership, and I saw this with Seth and his group out at Emily's project. They lost their crew leader about a month ago to a non-work injury, and all the members, all of you guys stood up to help fill that leadership gap. But particularly I watched Seth try and work with his peers 10 days on a 10-day backpacking trip. And it's hard because you also live with most of them. And we had great conversation about just what it takes to kind of work through that and come out at the end. In your case, you had to be both friends because you still had to live with them, but also to create a final product and to cover that stupid rock turnpike. Culvert, thank you. Culvert turnpike. The other thing you need to do is the heavy lifting. We all know that from lifting the rocks, and it started on day one with the ECG AmeriCorps folks. You guys came out with energy and enthusiasm to move gigantic things of mulch across a 200-foot chasm and then down into it. And then when it was at the bottom, instead of going home, we had to move all that stupid mulch onto the plants. We moved hundreds of yards of mulch down that way. And I saw the same thing at Juanita Bay Park and at Redmond from all of you guys. You're willing to commit to the hard work it takes. And that's true for the work, but also in the case of when you can't work. And Galena, to watch you figure out how to make this still your experience and to pull something out of this is actually a lot heavier and a lot harder to lift than that stupid mulch bag. So thank you for that, and thank you for teaching us about that. All of these things that contribute to what you need to move rock and to deal with rock, they are symbols of the things that you guys have brought to the program. And rock, when you set it, it requires 3 points of contact at least. That's the general rule that that we tried to teach Keith when he was in the Corps. Yeah, we didn't like that. That's what answers numbers. You need 3 points of contact. I like to think about at Earth Corps, those 3 points of contact are the healthy habitats, leadership in the community. For the healthy habitats, we can actually quantify that. So I have some numbers, and I think after each number you guys should cheer really loudly, because it's pretty cool. So total number of volunteers managed this year, 3,500 and more. And more. The numbers are not all in. We're still trying to figure it all out. Total invasives removed, which is the first time removal. I'll also read the maintenance, which is a hard number for me to read. But total invasives removed, 582,000 square feet. Julie mentioned earlier that we did 725,000 a few years ago. Well, that's maintenance and invasives combined. So maintenance, site maintenance, you guys did 1,484,000.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Kalina, por favor.
The last two pieces, part of the probably the fun ones. Trail, we did 8,000.